How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Give this video a thumbs up, please, if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe, of course, if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all. Hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. And, of course, we're going to be talking about Spaceballs, the movie that came out in 1987. As always, we're going to be talking about positives and negatives and then give you guys my final review score of the film. So, of course, Spaceballs is PG rated and it's about 96 minutes long. And honestly, guys, this is the very best movie, being a parody movie, that I have ever seen. I ended up having a chance to watch this movie last year. I went over to a buddy of mine's house and he's like, pick out a movie that you haven't seen and let's watch it. And so I was going through his collection and I'm like, I've never seen Spaceballs. And I know it's really weird for me to say that I've never seen Spaceballs except just by a random fluke, even though I love Star Wars. I always heard about the movie, I just never had any interest in watching it. But my buddy's like, watch it, you'll enjoy it. And I laughed my butt off. This movie is extremely funny and you will enjoy it. Now, if you have not seen Star Wars and you go to watch this movie, you're not going to enjoy it. I'm going to warn you about that right now. If you watch Spaceballs as just a normal film, you will not enjoy it. You might enjoy it a little bit. You might find something funny about it, but you will not understand the ins and outs of the fact that this movie is a parody of Star Wars. If you haven't seen the original Star Wars trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, this movie is nothing but a bunch of jokes and puns, and it's corny and it's cheesy, and you will not understand why certain things are said and done, and the setting and the costumes and things like that. This is the best combination of hilariousness. This movie has a funny plot. It's silly, it's wacky, has a lot of fun and memorable characters. It's goofy in a corny way, and it all comes together in one big package as a parody movie of Star Wars, and it does a great job. After watching this movie over and over again, still, I find this movie to be hilarious, and there's certain things that just still stick. You can watch certain movies that are comedies, and like once you've watched it once or twice, the humor and the jokes, they just kind of mellow out, and they're just like, yeah, it was funny the first time, but now it's not. The more you watch this movie, at least for me, it still remains that humor aspect. The jokes are still funny every time that you end up watching it. The merchandising jokes that are in this film are still the best, and they're still relevant today that are in this movie. This movie is kind of over the top, but the cast does so on purpose. I mean, this is a parody, and it's supposed to be over the top. I know a lot of people have seen this movie, and they're like, this is just over the top, exaggerated, ridiculous nonsense. And I'm like, do you know what a parody is? It's not supposed to be by the books. This film also has a bunch of nods and Easter eggs and kind of a parody at times of Alien, Jaws, the theme song, Planet of the Apes, Frozen. There's Frozen jokes in here before Frozen was even thought of, which is kind of weird, which is kind of cool. And of course, KFC. This film does have some unique plot twists and turns in this, especially towards the very end of the film. Amazing special effects as well for this film coming out in the 1980s. The fact that Mel Brooks acted in this movie, directed the movie, wrote the script for this movie, and produced it, that dude is just awesome. The fact that he did basically this whole movie all by himself, behind the scenes and a little bit on the camera, just really cool. My favorite characters in this film definitely is, of course, Lone Star and Barf, which are the parody versions of Han Solo and Chewbacca. And this film has a really great ending with the princess and Lone Star finally getting married. And my favorite scene in the whole film, still to this day, would definitely be the video cassette scene where they're trying to use the cassette to see what the future is. And it kind of does like a time travel thing and explains the logic of time and whatnot in this movie. And it really does so in a way that you can follow it. And it's funny. And I was really great about that. For negatives, this can be a guilty pleasure type of film to watch. The pacing in this movie is horrendously bad. It goes from humor action scene to a bunch of slow dialogue moments, then action scene, then people are just walking around and chit chatting, and the pacing and action scenes and dialogue don't mesh really well together. Honestly, a lot of people I've heard this from say they've watched it once and then it can be slow and boring to watch after multiple times. But to me, I guess that's really based on the viewer. I mean, I've seen this movie 5 times now, and every single time that I've watched it, I still enjoy it from start to finish. Interestingly, though, this movie is rated PG, but I'm pretty sure that if this movie was released today, it would be rated PG-13, possibly even R, because there is actually a lot of adult humor in this movie. The fact that this movie is rated PG just goes to show you how things were in the 80s, and the rating scale was definitely much different back then. This film also requires your brain to be completely shut off and for you not to think of anything logical, which for me as a critic is really hard for me to do. Um, and then a couple last things. The entire plot of running out of air on a planet and trying to steal air from other planets is kind of ridiculous. It's just, it makes no sense whatsoever. Also, there are a couple scenes where characters walking in outer space and they have no protection from anything in outer space. Like, I don't understand how these people are able to walk around in outer space and climb ladders with no suits and no helmets. Like, how are they not exploding or suffocating? That just makes no sense to me. And lastly, this film can be boring to watch. I will admit that. It can be boring to watch by yourself. So I want to say, if you haven't had a chance to watch Spaceballs, watch it with a group of friends or family members, because you'll get more enjoyment from that, and the laughs and the giggles, they'll be more impactful to you as a group rather than a solo viewer. Honestly, guys, if you haven't had a chance to watch Spaceballs, I highly encourage you guys to do it. If you've watched Star Wars at least 4, 5, and 6, you guys will enjoy this movie in some capacity. With that, guys, I'm giving Spaceballs, the movie from 1987, an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys all have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream, whether it be here on YouTube or Twitch at Douglas Force 47. And as always, may the Swarch be with you.